Hello, guys. My name is Reikai, and welcome back. I wanted to talk about something that came to mind today. Actually, been on my mind for a while now. You'd be scrolling through the internet, and I've been noticing that people have been getting a lot more comfortable over the last 10 years saying things very disrespectful in comment sections and on videos than they have over the last decade or so, and it's starting to get a little out of hand. You got grown ass adults throwing around a lot of hate speech like it's just common conversation at this point. And I kind of wanted to just remind people that this might only be in Canada, as far as I know, but there is a bill, and it is in law that if you are reported to the authorities to be saying racist things and hate speech online, that you can be arrested and you can be put in jail. So, it's gotten to a point where it used to be just a bunch of shit talking little kids. Like, I remember I was 12 once and had Xbox Live, and I said a lot of stupid things that I would smack myself for saying now. But luckily, I had parents that did that to me back when I was younger and taught me not to say these things. Well, what happens when the adults are the ones who are saying the things? Well, who's going to teach the adults? Well, the government, of course. If adults can't keep their fucking stupid ass opinions to themselves and grow the fuck up, well then yeah, the government's gonna have to step in and take control, because who's gonna teach the adults not to be saying shit like this, right? It's crazy. I go to a certain video over, like, I'd say, what's a touchy subject that people get a little mad about? Gender stuff. You go on a video where you got people saying, oh, women do this or men do that, and the entire comment section is just filled with people of the opposite gender being completely disrespectful, saying some pretty horrendous things. Now, keep in mind, the comments that come from people like this, these types of people are just chronically online, emotionally traumatized, shit talking retards at the end of the day. So whatever they have to say, take it with a grain of salt. These people are genuinely fucked in the head. But doesn't mean that they should be allowed to say it, right? So, I'm going to... shit. There, I gotta fix my... Give me a second. So, we have something in Canada called Bill C-63. And I will bring that up right now, once I situate my webcam back to where it was, because I fucked it up. Anyway, so Bill C-63, an act to enact the Online Harms Act to amend the Criminal Code, the Canadian Human Rights Act, and an act respecting the mandatory reporting of internet child pornography by persons who provide internet service. So, if you thought they were watching, you were right. Everything you say and do on the internet is being reported to your local, or being reported to the government, at least here in Canada. So keep that in mind when you're going around saying things like, oh, I wish this group of people would be corralled up and thrown into work camps, okay? And I'm not going to read this whole thing. We'll be here for a long time. But basically, I'll go over the explanatory note here in a second. It's basically a bill passed that if you say things that could be deemed as hate crime or hate speech in a court of law, then yes, you will go to jail. Pretty simple, really. If you feel comfortable disrespecting a group of people behind the comfort of your home, well, you may want to rethink your outlandish opinions. And I completely agree with this bill. I'm getting sick and tired of people thinking they're super tough gangsters behind the protection of a fucking screen, and feeling like they can say things that if they said to a group of people in real life, well, they'd get the shit kicked out of them. Let's be real. So explanatory note. Section 4.2 of the Department of Justice Act requires the Minister of Justice to prepare a charter statement for every government bill. Okay, I don't know if that is. That's unimportant. Sharing some key. I should have glossed over this. Here we go. The Minister of Justice has examined Bill C-63 as an act to enact Online Harms Act to amend the overview. Sorry, guys, I should have briefly went over this. I'm trying to find where it lays out measures to address it. Yeah, Bill C6 overview. Duh. I just woke up. Sorry. Bill C-63 contains a variety of measures to address a range of harmful content online as well as hate speech and hate crimes both online and offline. In order to combat harmful content online, which, let's be real, there's a lot of it, go through a Twitter post, man, you can see some pretty dark stuff that people say. There are a lot of people on Twitter that say shit like, man, I wish men would continue going to war and getting murdered. I feel like that could be considered hate speech, but that's just me. I mean, wishing bodily harm on a group of people is, in my opinion, definitely hate speech. Now, should someone have to go to jail for that? Maybe not. But they should definitely, kind of get a little bit of a scare by the police and be like, hey, maybe you should go to therapy and get your shit together. In order to combat, the bill, part one of the bill proposes a new Online Harms Act. Okay, this is what we want. To create a regulatory regime to hold social media services accountable for reducing exposure to harmful content on their platforms. Harmful content is defined as content that sexually victimizes a child or re-victimizes a survivor. Intimate content communicated without consent. Consent used to bully. Consent that induces child to harm themselves. Content that foments hatred. Content that incites violence. Content that incites violent extremism or terrorism. Basically every Twitter post ever. The Online Harms Act would set out baseline safety requirements that could evolve over time. So this is new, it's evolving still, and would increase transparency about the strategies that platforms are using to protect users and the effectiveness of those strategies. The Online Harms Act would establish a Digital Safety Commission of Canada to administer the framework, a digital safety ombudsperson, I can't read that, sorry, of Canada to be a resource for users and victims to advocate for online safety and digital safety office to support. So, yes, this is relatively new. I think it was released sometime last year. Don't quote me on that. But basically, it's outlining that, at least in Canada for now, that the government is going to be paying close attention, and this is going to be ever evolving, to things people are posting on the internet in order to combat hate speech. And I know what a lot of people are saying. Well, who dictates what's considered hate speech? Well, basically, an unbiased jury and an unbiased judge. So basically, and I know people are probably flooding to the comments, well, what happens when people say things about white people? Yes, of course. It doesn't matter what happened in the past or what your skin color is. Hate speech is something that could be said to anybody. I know there's a lot of mentally ill people that love to thump their chest about how you can't say racist things to white people. That's inherently untrue and completely against the definition of it. But anyway, that's not what's important in here. What's important is this is what's going on, and this is what's going to be going to continue to happen going forward. And I feel like a lot more governments are eventually going to pick this up in the future, so... But for now, I believe it's only a Canadian thing, and things that are being said online. So if you say something that was laid out in what I just read, you could be reported to the authorities, promptly arrested, and face a court, and potentially see jail time. And you know what? I completely fucking agree with this, because it's gotten to a point where people who are saying these things aren't just dumb kids anymore. It's a large percentage of grown-ass adults. And it's gotten bad. There's so many grown-ass adults that feel protected saying horrible things behind the protection of a phone or a computer. And I think it needs to fucking stop. Nobody thinks you're cool for saying these things. And if you know for a fact that if you said these things in real life, that you would either be arrested or assaulted. Like, When did it become so popular to act like a tough guy behind the fucking screen of your computer? Get a fucking life. Anyway, in order to combat hate speech and hate crimes both online and offline, Part 2 of the bill would amend the criminal code to create a new peace bond to help prevent and deter hate crimes and hate propaganda offenses from being committed. Increase the maximum punishments for hate propaganda, so it's not just going to be some jail time. In the future, it could be a lot of jail time. And create new general hate crime offense. Part 3 of the bill would amend the Canadian Human Rights Act to complement the regulation of social media services by allowing recourse to the Canadian Human Rights Commission against individual users who post hate speech on those services. Finally, Part 4 of the bill would improve the mandatory reporting of child pornography online by persons who provide internet service. So your internet providers are now also going to be paying attention to what you are viewing in response to, like, porn, right? They've already been doing that, and they've already been reporting people that view child pornography to the FBI and stuff like that. Now it's just going to be mandatory. Which, I mean, this goes without saying. Come on. People that look at child pornography deserve far worse, in my opinion. But I'm also not the government, and that's also why I'm not in the government. Because, yeah, even I get a little bit of extremist views on certain opinions, such as pedophiles and sexual offenders. I believe, in my opinion, that they should be chemically castrated and hung out on the streets. But, hey, that's why I'm not in charge of this, right? And this is just like, okay. Part 4, the main character, protected rights and freedoms potentially engaged by these measures include freedom of religion. That everyone has a freedom of conscience and religion. This guarantee protects a person's sincerely held practices or beliefs that have a connection with religion. A law or government action that interferes with the ability to act in accordance with such practices or beliefs may engage Section 2 if the interference is more trivial. Now, don't get it twisted. They're not just going to allow people to hide behind religion and use that as a advocate for hate speech. Yes, you have a right to practice your religion. You, however, do not have the right to use religion as a weapon to attack other people. Obviously. Freedom of expression. Now, this is one where a lot of people seem to get lost on. I wonder what they're going to say about it. Section 2B of the Charter provides that everyone has freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, and includes freedom of the press and other media of communication. Has been broadly interpreted as encompassing any activity or communication aside from violence or threats of violence which conveys or attempts conveying meaning. See, there it is. Yes, you have freedom of speech and expression as long as it doesn't breach any kind of, like, inciting violence on a group of people. Like, come on, this is just common fucking sense, right? No, you have... You know what a lot of people seem to not understand about freedom of speech? Freedom of speech doesn't protect you from the opinions of other people. It protects you from the government. Well, now you're losing a bit of those freedoms because people have decided to take them and weaponize them. So now the government's got to step in and reteach adults basic common fucking decency and integrity, because apparently it got lost somewhere along the way and everybody feels it's safe to harass people. Well, it's just like back in high school, where if you take advantage of something that is beneficial to you, it's going to be fucking taken away. Right to liberty. See, this is just like other rights to secure. I'm not gonna go through all this. Offense rights. If you want to read the whole thing, I'll post a link in the comment section down below. I mean, if I read this whole thing, it's just going to be 1 hour of me reading Bill C-63, and that's just not entertaining, right? But you get the fucking point, right? If you're going to act like a complete psychopath on the internet, there are repercussions now. Y'all fucked around for so long that the government decided that it was necessary to put their foot down and tell a bunch of grown-ass adults not to be racist, hateful assholes. And no, we're not talking about disagreeing with a TV show. We're talking about real racist bigots People that are genuinely saying things that are absolutely, and anybody with any common sense would see that is disgusting. Now then, I also didn't. I was like, I wondered if there's actually any cases of people being arrested for this yet, and I found some. So let's read some of these. British police arrest 11 people for online racist abuse following Euro 2022. So I believe this is. Oh, so I guess in Britain they do this. I guess they have kind of the similar thing. I stand corrected. British police have arrested 11 people across UK in connection with episodes of racist abuse targeting England football players on social media following the team's Euro 2020 final loss. The UK Football Policing Unit, launched a hate crime investigation after racist comments were directed at some of England's black players following the game on July 11th. The unit said it received more than 600 reports from individuals, charities, clubs, and other organizations. So there was a bunch of fucking shit-talking retards on the internet saying some racist stuff about these black football players, and now they've been arrested. Clear proof that if you say these things on the internet, you're not safe. And good. I don't think the internet is supposed to be a platform for people to say their racist bullshit. Of the 207 posts, holy shit. And that's probably not even a lot, but Jesus, that's a lot of posts to be saying shit like this. Fuck, most of the times it's usually like one or two people post about this, and then they're kind of like, ugh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. Not, these 11 people were completely unhinged psychopaths. Of the 207 posts found to be criminal, 123 accounts belong to individuals outside of the UK, and British police say that the details of these are being processed and passed to relevant countries to act on. See, that's another complication, right? Unless these laws are in you, like, unless these people are arrested in your country, it's kind of hard to prosecute them unless you convince the other countries that it's a, prosecutable offense. And I think you're going to see over the next, I'd say 5 to 10 years, that more countries are going to enact bills like this. We'll see. So far, 34 accounts were found to have been in the UK, and 11 of these account holders have now been arrested. The barrage of racist social media abuse was aimed at England players Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka. I am horribly sorry if I messed up any pronunciation. So, Asian guy and a couple dark-skinned guys. I wonder if, a mural in support for Marcus Rashford. Okay, that's cool. I mean, yeah. Stuff like this also it's a little unnecessary, but it's also necessary at the same time. It's a good reminder that, like, these are fucking people, man. People and citizens of your country. And not only that, citizens of your country that are entertaining you. Like, it's weird that people get to this point in life. People look at the message of support. Yeah, okay. I'm like this. You can read this on here. You can pause it. But the abuse led to widespread condemnations by English Football Association, the team's manager, Gareth Southgate, and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. These are people out there who believe they can hide behind social media profile and get away with posting such abhorrent comments. Yeah, just like I said before. These are a bunch of fucking weird little pussies who think it's okay to say this shit because they think they're protected by the internet. No. You are sociopaths, and it doesn't matter if you're on the internet or not. Eventually it's going to catch up to you when you're saying shit like this. National Police Chiefs. Oh, said by National Police Chiefs. Sorry. Council Football Policing Lead. They need to think again, yes. Robert said that a vast amount of work had been carried out to identify the 11 people arrested. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's probably not super easy to track down 11 people on the internet, especially considering not everybody posts with their actual name and puts their address on the internet, but if people on TikTok can track people down, I'm sure the fucking police can, alright? Don't think that just because you're posting anonymously that you haven't left some kind of breadcrumb trail. You'll be found eventually. The complexities of investigating social media abuse cannot be underestimated. That's why a lot of people get the entire TikTok community involved. You know, it's a lot easier when you have, you know, several million people doing the work for you. Just an idea. No, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. And yeah, so there's one case. So 11 people got arrested for saying racist things about these gentlemen playing football. Next is BC. So this is my next door neighbor. A province, not the person being arrested, okay? Don't take that out of context. BC online hate arrest puts spotlight on criminal speech laws. A lawyer, oh, this made it to court. A lawyer with the British Columbia Civil Liberties Association says it's wise to remember that even though charges over offensive social media activity are rare, online posts exist in real life and involve real people. Yes. It's not the Wild West online anymore. That's actually really good. I like that. And conduct that would be criminal anywhere is going to be investigated online as well. There's a couple stories I want to find afterwards that I found very fascinating. I don't know. I'll see if I can find them, but we'll do that after. It's separate from this in a way. It's the same but not same. Same but same, not same. Anyway, yes. This isn't the unhinged, fucking unregulated shitfest of an internet that it used to be, and that's probably for the best. I mean, things were pretty fucked up when I was growing up. I've seen some weird shit online that I probably shouldn't have seen as a kid. Anyway. But it's not an offense to be racially offensive. It's a criminal sense. How is it not an offense to be racism is illegal. It has been for a long time. What is this person talking about? In the criminal sense, it's conduct that we may want to socially discourage. What? Yeah, right there. What's this? I don't know if I believe the validity of this lawyer anymore. He just said that racist activity isn't inherently illegal? Yeah, it is. What are you talking about? It's right there, section 319. Promoting hatred makes it an offense to willfully promote hatred against any identifiable group. Right there, plain as day. Yes, being racist is against the law. We all know this. Anyway. When it comes to the power of state to lock you in a cage, you should be okay with just being racially offensive. What? As it doesn't cross the threshold of advocating. No, because if you allow people to post and say things like this, all you do is create more people like this, and then you end up eventually creating a person like this that is going to do something crazy like that, because if you allow 100 people to do something crazy like this, there's a good chance at least one of them is going to do something that the other 99 wouldn't do, right? We can all agree on that. That's just common sense. Anyway, Jackson was commenting after the RCMP last week announced the arrest of a Chilliwack, BC woman for what police describe as racially offensive social media content. Good. Fuck her. In general, we don't want to use the strong and in many ways blunt tool of the criminal law to deal with speech that simply... No, because it has become problematic. It's become such a common occurrence now that, yes, you do have to have the government step in, because like I said at the beginning of the video, who's going to teach the adults to get their shit together? Well, the government has to. And when you have several million grown-ass adults who are posting shit like this on a regular basis, it is problematic and it needs to be dealt with. There are a whole bunch of things we can address. People expressing ideas in our communities that are contrary to the value. Okay, anyway, get to the point, man. Like, how long is this? Okay. Sorry, guys. The woman has not yet been charged. Police have not named her or said what the charges are being recommended to prosecutors. But at least she got arrested. That's a start. If you start arresting people for doing this, they're gonna start having second thoughts about posting shit like this and maybe actually go get the therapy they need to get this fucking toxic shit out of their fucking heads. The problem is when there's no repercussions for actions like this, of course people are gonna do it. What are you talking about? It's like if you didn't get arrested for stealing, I guarantee you a lot more people would steal. It's beneficial to steal to the person stealing anyways. That's why you got to make things like this punishable to deter people from doing it. Yes, people are still going to fucking do it. You're going to have a lot less people doing it. That's the point. And then you can use this to catch the smaller amount of people who are doing stuff like this. If you don't do anything, then, well, here we go. We're back to fucking chaos, and we're nothing but a bunch of crazy animals in the streets doing a bunch of crazy animal shit. They're not civilized anymore. In general, okay, where was I? Sorry, I lost my place. There are a whole bunch of things we can okay, yeah, laws prohibiting. Jackson said promoting hate involves communicating statements in any public place that give rise to feelings of hatred and directed against an identifiable group. So what makes this different? What makes it different than standing outside promoting this with a picket sign in a public area than posting it online, which is also another publicly viewed area? It's not different. It's the same fucking thing. The only difference is this person sitting at their desk with a hot cup of hate coffee probably laughing their ass off at the responses. If anything, it should be considered more serious because more people can see it. Like, it's crazy to think that someone could sit at their desk with a cup of coffee in their hand and posting things like, oh, I think this group of people should be corralled up and thrown into work camps. Jesus Christ, man. Like, that's not cool. I lost my place again. Damn it, I'm sorry, guys. Depending on promoting... Yeah, okay. Jackson said that the bar for hate crime charges is very high. And the cases in other provinces have resulted in charges for criminal harassment or uttering threats rather than hate speech. Which, you know what, at least they got a charge at some point for something. Depending on what the facts are, this may well be criminal harassment, which can be repeated communications that cause another person to reasonably feel fear for their safety. That can certainly happen online, just as it can happen by, leaving notes, especially when you have a bunch of weirdos sending you death threats. Like, it's no longer just a little bit of harassment. No, like, these are grown-ass adults who can actually act on these threats. This isn't little Timmy saying he's gonna roll up on you, man. Like, these are grown-ass adults with the actual power and ability to harm people. Premier... Anyway, I think we get the point of this story. So this lady, they're not saying specifically what she said, so I don't know. But another story of someone being arrested for saying racist things online that promote hate and violence. Good. Oh, Jesus Christ. A Canadian Twitter user was arrested for posting videos harassing South Asians. Experts say Canada's justice system is not equipped to stop this problem. Well, that almost... Who wrote this? If they're not equipped for it, why would they pass a bill? Oh, this is the same woman in Chilliwack. Okay. Never mind. Just another article. They were arrested for posting during the riots. Okay, well, what did they say? So these people have had their names released, which makes me feel like they probably got prosecuted. Because most times, when someone's arrested for something, their identity is kept secret until they are actually found guilty for a crime, which is fair, right? It's not fair to release someone's information if they're found not guilty of a crime, right? For Tyler K and K 26 and Parlor 28 have been sentenced to 38 months and 20 months in prison. Tyler K and I don't know why one got a lesser sentence. Maybe that's not important right now. Respectively, for stirring up racial hatred online during the summer riots. Good. So yes, they have been charged and they got jail time. That's the example I was actually kind of looking for. Charges in the aftermath of the disorder felt a significant moment in which people had to face real life consequences. Yeah, so that's another thing when you're posting stuff like this online. There's no immediate repercussion to it, right? So it's like, oh, well, I said these hateful things, ha 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 ha, go about your day. Whereas if you said these things in real life, well, there'd be an immediate consequence. You say these hateful, racist things to a group of people, they're probably going to knock your teeth out. There's an immediate reaction. Whereas posting hateful stuff online, people feel safe because there's no immediate repercussion to it, or even a fear of a repercussion. Period. There was widespread recognition that false claims and online hate contributed to the violence and racism on British streets. So, okay, most of this stuff is happening, it sounds like, in Europe, not in Canada so much yet. So maybe that other article was true. Maybe we aren't quite equipped for it yet. They just passed the bill and we're like, we'll go with it. Sounds like something Canada would do. Ugh. Anyway, more than 30 people found themselves arrested over social media posts. From what I found, at least 17 of those have been charged. Damn. So, the UK over here scooping these psychopaths up and putting them where they fucking belong. The police will have deemed that some of those investigated did not meet the threshold for criminality, and in plenty of cases, the legal system could be wrong. Why is Elon Musk here? And nor, it seems, for social media giants whose algorithms time and time again are... Okay, well, this is one big thing. I don't think somebody should be arrested based off of algorithms. I think it has to be something actually... like, you need to take the proof and you need to actually give it to an authority. I don't want to see this bullshit of algorithms like scooping up certain keywords and then reporting it to the police. No, you see someone who is actually promoting hate crime, you take a screenshot and you send that in, and then an investigation can start. Fuck, if they start doing algorithm shit like this, I don't know. That might be a little too far. That kind of breaches some things. Anyway, at the time of the riots, I had wondered whether this could be the moment that finally changed the online landscape. Now, I'm not sure. To make sense of the social media giants and all, it's useful to start by looking at the cases of a dad in Pakistan and a businesswoman from Chester. I'm not calling it X. On Twitter, a pseudo-news website called Channel 3 now posted a false name of the 17-year-old charged over the murders of 3 girls. In Southport, the false name was then widely quoted by others. Another poster who shared the false name on Twitter was Bernadette Spofford, a 55... Oh, God. I can only imagine what a 55-year-old is going to say. With more than 50,000 followers, she had previously shared posts raising questions about lockdown and net zero climate change measures. Okay. So, your average crazy 55-year-old on social media. The post from Channel 3 now and Miss are also wrongly suggested that the 17-year-old was an asylum seeker who had arrived in the UK by boat. Now, all this combined with further untrue claims from other sources that the attacker was a Muslim was widely blamed for contributing to the riots. Yeah, that's another thing. There's a lot of false information online. You really got to be careful, especially if you're making posts on stuff like this. You really need to triple check your sources. Like, I learned how to check my sources in middle school. So, it's not a fucking excuse, to be spreading false information. This is basic fucking human skills and basic ability to use the fucking internet. Like, you have access to a plethora of information. Find 10 different sources before you start making crazy accusations, okay? Like, this is why I'm reading through several stories, just to kind of give you an idea. I'm not just reading one article and being like, fuck, goddamn assholes. You can't do that. Not anymore. There's way too much shit going around. The Time person claiming to be from Channel 3. Man, this person needs to learn how to use the fucking spacebar. Oh, Channel 3 now. Oh, that's the... I need to learn how to read. Management told me that the publication of the false name was an error, not intentional. Sure. Denied being the origin of that name. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, I thought we all kind of collectively agreed that we take news articles with a grain of salt. When did we stop doing that? And Miss told me she deleted her untrue posts about the suspect as soon as she realized it was false. She also strongly denied she made the name up. So what's next? Farhan, Asif, and Bernadette Burrough were arrested over the posts. Charges, however, were dropped. Authorities in Pakistan said they could not find evidence that Mr. Asif was the originator of the fake name. But you're kind of getting an idea, right? Like, things people say online nowadays aren't just being shoved under the rug. There's actual repercussions and, investigations going on. And that's something I wanted to bring light to. Watch what you say online, guys. You ain't as protected as you think you are. Or better yet, if this is how you actually think, maybe seek some mental help. 3 arrested in Carlisle over online hate posts. So, okay, I stand corrected. It's not just Canada that's doing this. It's already happening over the world. This is a short one. 3 men have been arrested over online posts encouraging violence and public disorder. The men from Cumbria are suspected of using the internet with the intention of stirring up religious hatred. Cumbria police said 41-year-old from Carlisle was accused of posting content online encouraging violence against police and promoting disorder. A 40-year-old from Carlisle, I'm sorry if I'm reading that wrong, and 31-year-old from Maryport were arrested for allegedly posting hate-related content online. The 3 who were detained for public order offenses remain in police custody. Their arrests follow days of violent disorder through the UK, which erupted after the killing of 3 children in Southport. Well, there you go. So their hateful posts actually ended up in an action, and now there's repercussions to pay. Can you charge them directly for the murder? No, but you can definitely charge them for being an accessory. We will continue to prioritize. So again, there you go. There it is. Several cases of people being arrested for things they're posting online. And again, I say good. I don't think a bunch of people should be allowed to be open, like have an open forum for posting hate crime or hate speech. It's ridiculous. Man, like, I bet the FBI and the RCMP would have a fucking field day on Reddit. Now, there was a story of, I'm going to see if I can find it here. There was a kid on RuneScape who threatened another kid saying he was going to shoot up their school and was promptly arrested immediately, like the next day. RuneScape case of kid being arrested for threatening to shoot school. I don't know. Oh, wow. Okay, apparently there's been more cases of this happening of recent. The case I'm looking for was like 10 years ago. Okay, well. This is, JGEX reports student to police. I think this is at 2013. That sounds, yes. That sounds about the year that this might have happened. So, JGEX reports student to police following, school shooting threat. This is the story I was looking for. Man, I'm surprised I found it. There were so many more. Why are there so many stories like this? Why can't y'all just keep it under control? It's a short one. So for all the talk about video games causing crimes, we don't often hear about the times when they may well prevent them. Thomas Frangillo, age 18, has been arrested on charges of threatening to commit a crime after making statements about shooting up the college that he attended. But the threats were not made in person. They were made in an online game run by JGEX, most likely RuneScape. Oh, come on, don't act like you don't know what RuneScape is. Come on. Which is what led to his arrest. Frangillo allegedly said, "I'm going to shoot up my school tomorrow," and indicated a knowledge of firearms and other players in the game. Okay, this isn't the one where I thought the story said he was threatening to shoot up another person's school, but you get the point. He also made anti-Semitic comments and had indicated shooting at a small wildlife in previous chat sessions. JGEX employees notified the police, and he is currently on bail pending his court date. So this happened in 2013. So, even when you're playing online games, the things you say can be used against you, especially if you're saying shit like this. Don't think that's because you're saying it on RuneScape that you're safe. No, you can't say this anywhere. Not in a game, not on Facebook, and not in real life. And this guy was 18. You should fucking know better. I imagine the kid was probably getting bullied or some stupid shit like that, but that's not a fucking excuse to threaten to shoot up a school. I got bullied my whole fucking life and I didn't fucking shoot anybody, okay? Grow the fuck up. Man the fuck up. Bullying happens. Survive it, become an adult, and you can make your own choices, okay? You don't need to harm innocent people because you're too much of a fucking pussy to get through a little bit of bullying. And I don't even want to just say a little bit, man. I got put in the hospital a couple times. So, don't come at me and say this is an excuse. It's never an excuse. There was a couple more here. Like, okay, there's one that was more recent. Man jailed 6 years for threats made in RuneScape. If this is the guy that made the threats, I can kind of see why. On October 4th, is this the same story? No, it's a different one. Jesus Christ, guys. Okay, on October 4th, 2012, the 19-year-old Josh Pillolt got into an argument on RuneScape. I'm going to stop here for a second. See, you know how we solved beef in RuneScape when we were kids? You took it to the wilderness and you fucking brawled it out, and then you went back to the willows and you were chill. We didn't threaten people in real life. We just fought in the game, called the person a noob, took their fucking lobsters and ruined scimitar and called it a fucking day. The argument escalated from there. At some point in his response, Pillow said he would level local Mississippi high school, Oxford High. Pillow also alluded to the Columbine shooting, and he said he could not wait to blow the brains out of skulls. Oof. Oof. Bro. 4 days later, on October 12th, the FBI arrested Pillout in his home. According to his case file, he was charged with knowingly and willfully communicating a threat by the means of the internet, an instrument of interstate and foreign commerce concerning an attempt to kill and injure individuals, and unlawfully damaging and destroy buildings by fire. And holy shit. There you go. The times of being the internet keyboard warriors and big tough guys behind your cell phones is coming to an end. If you have thoughts like this and you post things like this, just know that the rest of the world is coming for you, and there will be repercussions for your actions. Whether they happen today, tomorrow, or a few years from now, the internet is changing, legislation is evolving, and the things that you say and do on the internet are being monitored, obviously. So if you're going to be saying shit like this, and if you think things like this, I would strongly suggest maybe seeking therapy or help in some way or another, because you're either going to end up hurting yourself, someone else, or just ending up in jail for things you post online. But anyway, those were just my thoughts on this. I woke up and I was going through Facebook today and just going through some comment sections, and some of the things people are saying really shocks me. Quite literally. That there's a bunch of mentally ill, unhinged people on the internet that think that it's okay to say things like this. It's not. Just because there's no repercussions, they feel safe to say it. Well, those times might come to an end and you might have to actually get your shit together. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll get you the next one. Oh, and before I go, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. It's probably not super important. I mean, I'm just a random nobody who makes a bunch of videos, but I'm going to be going to school, so I'm probably going to be making a lot less of these as I want to focus on my studies. It's, a couple of months and then we'll be back to making stupid videos, but yeah. If anybody's wondering where I go for the next couple of months, I might make a video or two on the weekend. We'll see. I might need to study. I don't know. But anyway, catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.